Activity, film showing, short documentaries. 1. Disabled woman's difficulties in finding a domestic violence shelter. 2. Incredibly humiliated, degraded disability advocate claims she was abused in hospital. ABC. 3. Suspect sought in sexual assault of legally blind woman in Cupertino. 4. Deaf woman files discrimination complaint against judge for denying sign language interpreter.
Welcome sa another activity. Activity after another activity. Pero okay lang yan kasi related naman sila. Dito sa activity natin ngayon, film showing ulit siya ng documentaries. Pero ang main topic naman ng videos natin ngayon ay persons with disabilities, specifically women with disabilities. May iba't iba silang issue. Merong na-abuse dito, merong nagkaroon ng problem with sign language interpreter sa korte, etc. etc. Maganda na malaman natin kung ano talaga yung tunay na kinahaharap na challenges ng women with disabilities in real life. Dito natin makikita na napakahirap kapag yung marginalization mo, nagle-layer-layer na siya. At dito rin makikita o mas maiintindihan yung tinatawag na gender and disability issues all together in one person. Kasi nga, paulit-ulit ko namang nami-mention kanina pa na meron tayong tinatawag na intersectionality. Sa intersectionality, makikita natin kung paano nag-i-intersect yung characteristic mo as a woman o yun yung gender mo and having a disability at the same time. So, bago po tayo manood, again, trigger alert, trigger warning, for those participants or trainees namin na may psychosocial disability, gusto ko po kayong bigyan ng advance notice na yung mga videos na papanoorin po natin ay maaaring depressing, maaaring nakakasakit ng kalooban, or maaaring naranasan po ninyo yung naranasan nila. Gusto ko po kayong bigyan ng advance notice or some sort of a warning para po mas ma-prepare niyo po yung sarili niyo bago niyo po mapanood yung mga videos kasi medyo masiselan po sila. So let's watch this.
Yeah, Steve and Tricia, we are live in her apartment right now, and I want to give you a sense of how serious this is. Take a look. This is her emergency kit she has packed, ready to go, some extra prescription pills. Had she need to leave in a moment's notice, I want you to take a look at this right here. She has her motorized wheelchair barricaded against her front door in case her ex-boyfriend comes back.
You can't take care of yourself. You can't run away.
Brenda Birch is frustrated. She claims her cancer treatment, back problems, and her need for a caregiver is preventing her from getting into a domestic violence shelter.
They turn you down because you're handicapped and unable to self-care. Then you feel like a bug that's been stepped on.
Making things even worse, Brenda says she's living in fear because her meth-addicted ex-boyfriend has relapsed and is threatening to move back in. At night, her motorized wheelchair is kept against her front door.
Wheelchair is about 700 pounds, and it's easier for me to put against the door than anything else.
Brenda says her ex is the only one on the lease. Legally, he has the right to be there.
Every second I wait is another second that I'm terrorized or could be attacked.
Brenda says she's trying to get into a domestic violence shelter to get away, but she quickly found her health needs are getting in the way.
They just told me if you can't self-care, you can't come in.
Brenda relies on a caregiver to administer a box and a drawer filled with prescription pills for her back injury and cancer treatment, also for her bathroom needs and meals. Contact 13 asked Shade Tree and Safe Nest, prominent shelters in Las Vegas, about situations like Brenda's. Shade Tree says they are not a medical facility and cannot provide specialized medical care, and add folks who come to them must be able to feed, bathe, and use the bathroom without assistance. Safe Nest says admitting caregivers into their shelter could put others at risk. In the meantime, Brenda says that she'll try some churches or other organizations to try and get to safety. Reporting live, Joe Bartels, 13 Action News.
Hopefully some. When disability advocate Stephanie Travers went to Sydney's Royal North Shore Hospital in September for her depression, she was looking for care and support. She says what she got was a highly traumatic experience.
Incredibly humiliated, degraded. No one cared about whether they hurt me.
Stephanie has spina bifida and uses a wheelchair. She says she was manhandled by security after denying claims she was smoking in an emergency department toilet. Then she was sectioned under the Mental Health Act.
I was refused access to my wheelchair. I was told it was a weapon. I was refused access to my leg braces.
Stephanie alleges nurses tried to take her phone and she fell out of her wheelchair onto the tile floor. After her mother complained, Stephanie Travers was considered well enough to be promptly discharged with no follow-up. She had bruised hands, legs and arms and says she spent the next week in bed in pain.
I'm now at this point where I don't know where to go and I don't know where to seek help.
Advocate Jeff Smith says people with disabilities suffer higher rates of mental illness but often don't receive the care they need.
What people are saying is that the current system is very institutionalised, it's very isolating, often coercive.
The issue is so serious, it's gone all the way to the United Nations.
We do need a new model, a new community-based model.
Police are now investigating Stephanie Travers' case. She's also lodged an official complaint with the Northern Sydney Local Health District. It says hospital staff have contacted the patient to discuss her concerns and apologised for her distress.
It's restraint, seclusion, exploitation, threatening and assault, and it shouldn't happen.
And Stephanie Travers hopes it doesn't happen to anyone else. Mary Louise Vince, ABC News, Gosford.
5 in the South Bay, authorities looking for a man who they say stalked and then attacked a woman who's legally blind. KPI X5's Kit Doe live in Cupertino near the scene of that crime. Kit?
Yeah, we're right here near the corner of De Anza College, near the corner of North Stelling Drive and Stevens Creek Boulevard. The Santa Clara County Sheriff's Office today talking about the attacker did not mince their words.
If you want my opinion, it's a very coward move. In broad daylight, a legally blind victim walking up to her and taking advantage of her is a very coward move.
Deputy Russell Davis says it began when the suspect spotted the victim coming out of a cafe.
The suspect made flirtatious advances towards her. She respectfully denied him.
That's when the man followed her into a Target where he was captured on their surveillance cameras from multiple angles.
And he was able to follow her without her knowledge and follow her from a distance to keep an eye on her.
So he was stalking her, basically?
Pretty much he was stalking her.
She left the Target and he was right behind her for a quarter mile. The victim walks to her workplace nearby and that's when he grabs her. This dash cam footage captured the brief attack on the far right side of the frame. He grabs her from behind and fondles her. Here it is again, but listen to the horn honking. That's a Whole Foods employee who saw the attack, honked his horn, which startled the assailant. The suspect ran, and the employee followed after him briefly.
Would you call that witness a hero?
I would say so, because he potentially stopped something from getting worse. We don't know what the suspect's intentions were after that.
I haven't seen anything like that, ever. I've never felt unsafe.
Meryl Aikett is a regular customer in the area and says it's a good idea to be more vigilant.
I hope they catch him, for sure.
Here's a picture of the attacker again. He's Hispanic, 20 to 30 years old, about 6 feet tall, about 200 to 240 pounds. They got a picture of his vehicle, an older Scion XB, silver, with no front license plate, but there were some colorful toys on the dash.
Okay, those are some pretty good pictures of the suspect, and the attack happened in May. Why did they wait to make it public?
So they have been using this past 6 months to go through every database that's available to them. They have not had any luck. So this is why they are turning to the public. They say that somebody out there knows something.
Yeah, let's get past this dead end. All right, Kit, thanks so much.
Selena Alverio tells me that she felt belittled and disrespected when that judge totally ignored her request for an interpreter. But today she says that she's sharing her story so that that judge can be investigated and so that other judges here at Metro Court can properly be trained when it comes to accommodating those with disabilities. Experiencing discrimination isn't new to Selena Alverio.
This is something that happens repetitively over and over again.
Celine is deaf. On November 6th, she showed up to the Bernalillo County Metro Court for a civil hearing. When the hearing started, she told Judge Daniel Ramsick she needed a sign language interpreter, but denied her request.
So I felt belittled. I knew he was wrong. And I felt like violated on so many levels because he didn't even give me an opportunity to speak.
Metro Court requires those who need disability accommodations to contact the court's ADA coordinator no later than 48 hours before the scheduled court date. Celine did that about 2 weeks prior to her scheduled appearance, but they said it was too late and denied her request.
This kind of behavior really undermines the integrity of the bench.
The day she appeared in court, she told the judge she needed an interpreter, but it was also denied.
When Judge Daniel Ramsick denied Ms. Alverio an ASL interpreter, He denied her the ability to defend herself. He also denied her basic respect and dignity.
Celine and the ACLU of New Mexico filed a discrimination complaint with the U.S. Department of Justice against the judge and the court. Celine believes all this could have been avoided.
It's not a difficult thing to comprehend. I would ask that he would have been much more compassionate and understanding of my situation and more patient with me than angry and defiant.
Now, I reached out to the Bernalillo County Metro Court for comment, but they said they could not speak on pending litigation. They did tell me that he's no longer with Metro Court. He's now been appointed as a district judge. Reporting live in Albuquerque, Marissa Armas, KOAT Action 7 News.
The Americans with Disabilities Act prohibits any public entity, including courts, from excluding anyone with a disability from its programs, services, or activities, or otherwise subjecting them to discrimination.